Well, yesterday's video aged like a beautiful red wine. This is not what I expect to happen every single time, but the signs have been there for a very long time. We're watching the macro cycle play out. We're watching the bottoms come into the market in 2022. We're watching the market slowly and then very fast climb out of the wall of worry, going from higher low to breaking out of resistance levels. This is what we've seen overnight on the S&P 500. We've seen this on the NASDAQ, closing at some of the highest levels in over a year. We're also seeing the strength in Bitcoin coming in while the US dollar is also strong. There are so many signs here in the markets showing that the bears are getting crushed slowly and then eventually quite quickly. This was the warning in yesterday's video. So don't go anywhere, hit that like button, make those fireworks go off if you're on your computer, or let me know, are you on mobile? So we have a ton to get through today as the market keeps giving us more and more good news. I didn't realize how much people didn't want to hear the good news of the markets going up, especially in the face of a looming recession and higher interest rates and sticky inflation and banking crises, all of this stuff going on, and the markets keep going up. I've got a lot to get through with you today, but first I just want to mention to the Aussies, Binance Australia halts AUD payments. So if you are with Binance, Swyftx has kindly given us a triple bonus here. Yes, they are a sponsor of the channel, so I'm letting you know that as we are talking about them right now. So they're doing a $30 free BTC if you use the link in the top of the video description, as most, if you're on Binance, are going to need a new on-ramp and off-ramp if you are trading cryptocurrencies. So link top of the video description, that is for Swyftx. That is now $30 for a limited time, just 7 days. So check that out. Let's dive into the first piece of updates, BTC. So we have just seen a little bit of a push to the downside. It's a 2.1% drop on the day after yesterday's 1.37 move. The main thing that we're noticing here is over the last 7 days, the price has been basically the same. 7 days ago, it was 26,986, and today it closed at 26,820, basically $100 lower. In the same period, the US dollar has increased. So typically what we've seen between these two charts is when the US dollar declines, then you get a nice rise on BTC. We had that rise through this period when Bitcoin was consolidating and then going on its run from late December, January, into that peak in April. And then from that period, you had the November collapse of the US dollar all the way down into the February low, quick little run up, and then that final low in April. So during that same period, the US dollar lost a lot of strength and BTC gained a lot of strength. And in the short term, what we were seeing was just a little bit of hesitation here from BTC. Of course, these swings have felt like the new bull market and bear market to most investors, but when you look back over 7 days, price has basically gone nowhere. When we look back all the way to this swing bottom that occurred in March, going back 52 days, price is basically the same as it was back then as well. So I've put this down as to USD repricing. Obviously, the price is repricing because it's priced in USD. However, it's almost the divergence is finding a little strength here. We're not seeing the same divergence as what we saw previously on BTC to the US dollar. So eventually, when the strength comes back into Bitcoin, once we've gone through our consolidation, we may see a little faster move to the upside. Of course, we're still waiting on the US dollar to come towards some resistance, and those resistance points are now in the short term being overcome. It's overcome in the short term 103.3. That's our 50% level from the top to the bottom. The next levels to the upside, we can see are around 105, 105.3. These go all the way back to June 2022. There's a peak, small resistance. There's a couple of bottoms here. Then we started to have some support before it broke down and became resistance. You also got some resistance and then the resistance at that March peak. So if we're able to consolidate above these levels, that's probably the next level to look forward to, around 105 to 106, because that's that next peak. So we'll continue to watch what happens to the US dollar and how Bitcoin responds to a potentially increasing US dollar. If we find the Bitcoin price continues to remain relatively stable, meaning it sticks around these areas between 24, 25, 26K, and maybe to the upside here of 28K, while the US dollar goes up, that is potentially going to be some strength to Bitcoin once the US dollar finds some resistance and starts to head back down. Because in the face of the US dollar going up, we've already started to see Bitcoin maintain its pricing while the US dollar gets stronger, because eventually the tides turn. This always happens. Just like we saw at this low that we saw from March into April. We called it here because we saw how extreme the news was getting at this low. We were anticipating some sort of move to the upside, or at the very least, a pause here because of how bad the news was. We paused for quite some time without the price going low on the back of very extreme bad news for the US dollar. And guess what? Market goes up from there. Exactly what happened at the peak. Extremely good news for the US dollar. We had the euro collapsing. We had the Great British Pound collapsing, and everyone saying the US dollar is the only safe haven. The milkshake theory getting more and more headlines there. And guess what happens? The US dollar goes sideways, and we were talking about it all through this period. You guys remember that we could see the weakness starting to come into this market on the back of extreme good news. And of course, the market collapsed from that point. So we expect the same thing to happen from here. Maybe the news isn't going to be as loud, but we'll start to see some sort of resistance levels, whether it's here at 105, 106, or up here at around that 107, 108, that 50% level, which the market hasn't tested. Onto the S&P 500 and the short-term bullishness. Here is the breakout. The market hits a new closing price, new highest closing price for 2023. A new highest daily close of 2023, a new highest price as well. It's had its highest daily close in 9 months. It is 2.65% from the August top. This was that peak before the market collapsed into that final cycle low. All the stuff we've been covering for that entire transitional period of the S&P. It broke the 4,200. We need to get a few more closes above there. It closed above the bear market 50% level. That is from the top to the bottom. You can see this level right here. When you move that to the top, there it is there, that 4150-ish level. So nice closes above there, showing more strength coming into the market. It's now just 14% from the all-time high. So once there was a whole bearish move, now we're starting to see that move to the upside. And it's also now 217 days from the low. So about 7 months. It's technically out of a bear market, climbing 20% from the low. So it's just over 20%. There is your low. There is the current price to 20.5% to the upside. So technically speaking, it's out of a bear market. So these are just the facts from the chart. There is nothing there that's an opinion. That's literally the facts from the chart. Also, there are higher swings as well, which I haven't pointed out in that post, but you guys know about it. So investors that saw this coming from the June and October low, as I've been pointing out here on the channel for obviously nearly coming up to 12 months, are now positioned with minimal risk. So although it may seem like the riskiest time to buy at the bottom when the most fear is there, May had the most fear, May 2022 had extreme fear, and June had extreme fear, this is now the safest place to buy through this area as well. Also a reasonably safe place to buy. And of course, the lower you can buy at the bottom, the less risk you have as the market starts to move against you. Of course, there's always the side that this market could go down further, but lay it in with the rest of our analysis, that helps us stay safe in the market by also having stops in place in case the market does fall against us. But for now, everything is still in tune and the market is breaking to the upside. So what happens from here? Well, this is leaving all those that are still in cash, like we talked about in yesterday's video, the warning that I've got here where we had a lot of cash sitting on the sidelines, and eventually this has to start creeping into the market because of the gains that the market is making. It's putting pressure onto the cash on the sideline that's only making 4 to 5%. These managers have to be beating the market. They have to be doing better than the market. So keeping money in cash is going to hurt their bottom line. So this eventually starts to put a squeeze onto the market, and you start to see this thing move higher and higher, just like we're starting to see on the NASDAQ. So this becomes risky now. This is the risky part. When the market starts to go up, is risky. Just look at Bitcoin. As the market starts to go up, you can see it happen faster and faster, and buying in at the tops is the risky part. I'm not saying that we're at the tops yet for the NASDAQ, but in the short term, we'll obviously have to get a top soon. This month, next month, we'll wait and see. But you can see the move is getting faster to the upside. So this is putting pressure on those investors who are on the sideline, who now have a higher entry point than what was happening back here. And eventually when this thing rolls over, they'll be in losses faster than the rest of them. You guys, anyone that's buying at these lower prices, whether it was Apple, whether it was Facebook, whether it was Tesla, whatever it is, have a much easier sleep at night because any move to the downside is still in profits. Whereas these guys, unfortunately, who are getting in now, later, as you can see the market start to break, they're in a bit of strife if and when this market starts to roll over. Just as clarity, we're not saying that this market is going to roll over and collapse to new lows, but we do know that markets have short-term pullbacks. You can see that's just a natural part of the market, especially once it's been going up for a period of time, and depending how fast it goes up, it has to have those pullbacks. And so eventually that's going to happen. Hopefully, for the sake of the bulls, it happens above the 50% level now that we've started to break out and break these tops. Nonetheless, we still have the backups underneath these lows that were set in April, and also the backups that were set underneath March, and the backups that were all set back at around 10,500 points through October, November, December, and January. I've been coming at you day after day, being on the right side of the market. So if you're finding value in understanding how these markets are working, leave us a little like down below. And if you haven't already, subscribe. If you want to go that extra step further, drop us a love heart in the comments section. All right, guys, the last thing I want to look at here is the sell in May, go away. So far, it's 0.6% to the upside. This is May 1st. This is where we currently sit. So still too early to tell. Obviously, it's the 6-month period of May through to the end of October. But what history has shown is typically it's not the best time to be selling, only if you're comparing it to the period between November and April, is that this period of May to October is a less profitable period than November to April. Nonetheless, it's probably going to have an upside here. So basically a positive return in that 6 months. Now, the last thing I wanted to go through, which I'll leave for a real estate video, which is long overdue, so apologies to you guys who are waiting, is something to do with the interest rates and DR Horton. You can start to see some of these signals that are coming into the market, some of the leading indicators here. These are some of the other indicators that have shown us that these markets are not ready to roll over and collapse. This is what many people have been talking about with the S&P, waiting for the S&P to roll over and collapse. It's not time yet. They're waiting for the NASDAQ to roll over and collapse. It's not time yet. The home builders are showing us a very different sign. The interest rates are also showing us a very different sign. And this has been brought up many times on many different other places around the media and I guess other influencers. And I just want to go through this and show you what it means in real terms and what we can expect over the coming years, because this is going to come to a major collapse. Not yet, we have some time, but we're starting to see some of those signs of this move speeding up. And then that is the scary period. Hopefully I've been able to show you that, especially in this short term where the markets start to speed up and those late entrants all get it wrong and they're left at a high leverage position or at a loss very early on in their investment. It's going to see that. I think we'll see that soon with the NASDAQ as this market picks up that little bit of speed here. So those late entrants in the short term may come and have their position in a bit of a negative. So I'm going to go through this in a video on real estate. Stay tuned to the channel. Hit that like button down below. Subscribe if you haven't already, and leave us a beautiful little love heart if you happen to join us there. All right, guys, thanks once again. I'll see you at the next video. Until then, take care and peace out.